I arrive at the Grand Cataract Hotel precisely on time. No simple task in a land so vast. I believe this will be quite a satisfactory stay. All is well, all is peaceful. At first, I assumed my solitude was to be interrupted by an unwelcome interloper, but
Poirot, is that really you? Oh my god. Oh, this is excellent. This is just... It's brilliant. What are you doing here? Was I serving some sort of, some sort of nightmarish case? I hope. Well, that's a bit disappointing. But well, who needs it anyway? This is going to be a jolly exciting trip. Just on its own. Yeah. Well, this should be fireworks. Yes, both literally and metaphorically. Oh, you don't know? Well, that's the first time. Well, then, let me just begin with, let's see. Oh yes, how about the good doctor? German, I think. Oh, so you have met him. Ah, well, German, Austrian, is there much of a difference? I'm sure there is. I just can't... I can't tell. What is his name again? Ah, that's right. Bessner. Well, not much of a talker, is he? Well, still nice to have a sore bonus on the trip, don't you think? Who else now? And there we have, yes, Mr. Penninington lounging there in the corner, out of sight. Pretty shady character if you ask me. What? Oh no, I've never spoken to him, but he just seems somewhat dodgy, don't you think? He is an American too, which surely doesn't help. Well, he is the executor of Linette Ridgeway. Well, let's say actually Ridgeway-Doyle's ridiculous fortune. Yes, she got married, you see. Yes. Oh, you haven't had the pleasure yet? Well, she is over there. I was saving her because she is the fireworks. Yes, gorgeous, right? Well, she's also one of the richest women in England. Yes, but she remains very humble, It hasn't changed her at all. Yes. I'm just kidding, obviously. Oh, yes. Just like her father was, spoilt, arrogant, and just used to getting what she wants by any means. Which brings us to Mr. Simon Doyle over there. Yes. Are you following? Yeah. The Doyle that caused the Ridgeway-Doyle, so to speak. No money at all. A veritable peasant. Pretty simple too, by all accounts. But if Linette is the fireworks, then Doyle, well, he's the fuse. Yeah. He worked, I repeat, he worked for Linnet as a gameskeeper of some sort. That is how they met. Yeah. But how did he get the job, I hear you ask most enthusiastically? Well, that brings us to that sword. Where is her? Oh, right there. It takes us to Jacqueline de Bellforte. The match that lights the fuse. She got Simon the job, you see. They were actually engaged at the time. She was, and I emphasize was, very good friends with Linette. Yeah, but Linette decided to pinch her true love from under Jacqueline's nose. Delightful. Just delightful. The length to which this web of absurd things, spreads. It's outstanding. How are you enjoying it? Well, who else do we have? Oh yes, and then there's that commie over there. Furgusson, I believe. Don't know his first name, but I do know everything else about him, to mind. Yeah, he is more than happy to regale you with the plight of the workers in this world over a glass of Dom Perignon, without the slightest note of irony. He's been chasing that girl over there. Cornelia, what's her name? Cornelia Robson, that's it. Robson. I am surprised that she's been let out. She's the travelling companion to the dreadfully snobbish Aunt Miss Van Schuyler. Yeah, I think she's even glad to talk to Mr. Furgusson, just to get away from her aunt for a minute or so. Another American, I'm afraid. They get everywhere these days, don't they? Impressive. Oh, and over there we have Rosalind Otterborne. Yes, the long-suffering daughter of Madame Salome Otterborne. I'm not sure I've seen her smile once. Well, not a genuine smile anyway. More of a snakish grimace, Yeah, apparently, and you didn't hear this from me, her mother is a drunk, and it's a full-time job keeping her. Well, not sober as such. That would be too herculant of a feature. Oh no, but at least not so drunk, so that she can stand. Where is her mother? Salome, actually. Oh yeah. She is a novelist by trade. Yeah, and quite some risky material too, by all accounts. Incredibly flirtatious, yes. A man-eater, actually. Well, I would keep well away from her if I were you. You are, unfortunately, I'm afraid, very much her type. Yes, exactly her type. Oh, she's coming over here. Oh well,
Mr. Allerton, I'm feeling quite hot. The thrill of the evening, Do be a good boy and go to the bar, get me another drink. Just give the bartender my name, and tell him I'd like another. I've already given him very specific instructions on what I like, and I've paid him generously to make sure he gets it just right. Oh, this? No, I'm practically a teetotaler. You'll notice that I never drink anything but water and the occasional lemonade. I can't bear the taste of spirits. This is just a little tonic, though I'll forgive you if you think you smell otherwise due to all the more spirited beverages being served around us. Just a mirage of the mind. Happens all the time, and I'm not at all offended. One must be quite strong to endure the kind of pressure that comes with having an audience as ravenous and demanding as mine. Aren't we quite the collection of notable personalities? Society beauties, a world-renowned detective, a famous novelist. Oh. I see you've noticed my daughter Rosalie. She's, well, yes, she is quite good-looking, but she's very hard, Monsieur Poirot. No sympathy at all for illness. Always with an opinion on what's best for my health. She has no idea how I suffer. The long hours, the pressure, the expectations. I have another novel on the way, you know. An absolutely gorgeous story. Because of my great passion for the work, I take my time with it, but my public is getting terribly impatient. Oh, my publisher, poor man, sends the most desperate appeals by every post, even cables. And I don't mind telling you, Monsieur Poirot, that that's why I'm here, for the local color. Snow on the desert's face. That's the name of my new novel. Powerful, suggestive. Close your eyes and imagine it. Come along now, you must play along. Merci, monsieur. Now imagine it. Snow on the desert, melted in the first flaming breath of passion. My books are deliciously tender and yet puissant. Libraries ban them, but no matter. I speak the truth. Tell me, Monsieur Poirot, why is it that everyone is so afraid of sex? My work is outspoken, yes, but it is real. Well, if you haven't read one of my novels, you simply must. Oh, I just remembered. I happen to have a copy of my latest right here. Under the Fig Tree, une première édition. A gift. Lucky you. This one's become quite hard to find. The publisher made a strategic decision to stop printing after the first edition, to whip up enthusiasm for my next book, you know. Oh, and I'll save you the embarrassment of asking, of course I'll sign it. Just a word or two preceding la signature to remind you of this time we spent together tonight. 2 ans profonds. And now, Monsieur Poirot, to the dance floor. I was hoping you might trip the light fantastic avec moi. I know this is the wrong way around, but we are liberated now, aren't we? It seems like everybody who's anybody is in Egypt say swamp, but I bet we can show them a thing or two. Rosalie is giving me that look she gets when she has an opinion just bursting to escape from her lips. And since our dashing Mr. Allerton seems to have gotten lost on his way to the bar, well, I suppose it's up to me to get up and go after what I want. I don't think it'll take me long. Don't listen to a word that Rosalie says about me. She's quite a scold, and, well, in her own way, she has even more passion for fiction than I do. Well, for now, monsieur, à très bientôt.
Monsieur Poirot, I do hope my mother hasn't exhausted you. Well, I know how exhausting she can be. That Linette Doyle is very beautiful, isn't she? Rich, too. Well, I've read about her in the papers, seen a photograph here and there, but nothing can quite prepare you for how lovely she is in the flesh. Yes, I don't think I've ever hated someone so much on first sight alone. Well, not in her case. Monsieur Poirot, life is just unfair. Me? Well, you've met my mother, haven't you? All right, then. Good evening, monsieur.
Mr. Poirot, I was hoping if you had a spare minute to have a quick word with you, if that would be okay. It's rather sensitive, really, actually. I'm in quite a predicament. It's my old fiancée. Yes, you met her, did you, Jacqueline? Yes, she's, for want of a better word, she's stalking me and my wife, Linette. She just won't give up, and I was hoping you could speak to her, perhaps talk some sense into her. No, she hasn't made any actual threats, but it just feels unseemly. It feels like, well, I just really want her to be getting back on with her life. I don't see anything productive about this. This is destroying her, frankly. It can be no good for her. Well, I wish it was that easy, but changing your plans like that at the last minute it's not quite so simple, is it? I suppose it is. Yes. Nevertheless, it would mean the world to me, Mr. Poirot, if you could. That is wonderful. Thank you so much. You don't know how much this means to me. Thank you so much, Mr. Poirot. I won't take up any more of your precious time. This is such a relief. Thank you. Thank you. Again, thank you. I awake the following morning to a beating sun that has no intention of taking a break. My plans are somewhat, well, let us not say interrupted, but perhaps diverted by two less than chance meetings. One, Mr. Bellforte, and two, Mrs. Doyle. Fortunately, not at the same time. This would have made for a most dramatic start of the day. No. Was certain. The separation, however, made it no less interesting.
Yes? Do I know you? Here it comes. Linette paid a detective a bucket load of money to knock me off her tail. Well, more for you, detective. You must know how wealthy she is. Please, sit. I'm not surprised that you've been roped into all of this. Linette is used to getting exactly what she wants. Her father was halfway to a gangster, you know. Yes, I've known Linette for a very long time. We met at the school play. Anthony and Cleopatra. I was Cleopatra until the teacher came to me a week before opening and gave my part to Linette. I was stuck with Charmion, the handmaid. Simon? Well, I haven't known Simon quite as long as Linette, but Simon is big and square and boyish and beautifully simple. And that's it. We were desperate to be married as soon as possible, so hopelessly in love we were. But the problem was that Simon was unemployed, and how could we get married with no income? I knew Linette had just bought an estate, falling to bits, in need of desperate repair. And when I saw her at the club, I proposed that Simon, who's country through and through, could fix it up for her and run it. And if he's no good, axe him on the spot. And right on cue, as if Simon knew exactly the plan I was hatching, he comes over from the bar with not 2, but 3 glasses of champagne. Well, Linette took one look at him and all the air escaped from her lungs. She had stopped breathing, so dazed by him. She was infatuated with him instantly, lost in his dazzling charm, eyes wide with lust. She offered him the job there and then on the spot, without even consulting me first. Naturally, I was thrilled, but I felt this uneasiness settle in the pit of my stomach. Linette had always gotten what she wanted, and her gaze had turned to Simon. I should have never have let them dance together that evening. She worked her charm over him, and, well, you know the rest. You could say that I've been rather tenacious in my actions. First, I did it just to be close to him. Then I got bold. Let them see me. I saw the smile fall from her beautiful face. The lines of worry crack across her forehead. No. That's where you're wrong, detective. Simon loves me. He loves me. I know it. Even if he's forgotten, dazed by her. Love that strong doesn't vanish. I love him. I love him madly, deeply, every minute of the day. It's not something I can switch off. Did you know the reason why the heart is the organ given to love? If it stops to rest, we die. And I don't plan on dying alone. You can be sure of that. It's a 22 caliber. Practically a toy. Maybe to fix a broken heart. All it takes is a single bullet,
cinnamon. They're the best in the world here. The spices. Like nowhere else. No, thank you. Oh, do you have any hibiscus? Thank you. Dried hibiscus. They use it to make this tea called Carcade? Something like that. It's so refreshing. I tried it yesterday. I'm gonna make some myself. Smell it. Isn't that just divine? I'll take it. There was something I wanted to look at that my eye on yesterday. Now, what could this be? So many mysteries to find here. Little curiosities. Yes. What is it? Really? With dates? Did you hear that? With dates. I just love dates. Especially covered in chocolate. I'll think about it. I'm not sure. Sit that way. I wanted to look at some of their jewelry. Something that looks Egyptian. Oh, this is heaven, isn't it? What's this? Silk. How much? I'll take it. Monsieur Poirot, thank you for joining me at the bazaar today. I have to admit, I'm very anxious to speak with you. Wrap this up, will you? Well, to come straight to the point, I'm a victim of an intolerable persecution. Yes, it's really very simple. Before I met my husband, he was engaged to a friend of mine, Jacqueline de Bellforte. Now the two of them weren't even remotely suited, and he broke it off. Yet out of pure spite, she's chosen to hound us wherever we go. We are on our honeymoon, trying to celebrate our love, but she's found us. First in Venice, then in Brindisi, then Cairo, now here. It's ridiculous that she just continues with this hissy fit. It simply cannot continue like this. Feeling guilty? I'm sorry, did you not just see how she behaved back there? You don't understand. Even before he met me, he knew he made a mistake. She loved him, yes, but her feelings were not reciprocated. Does he have to spend the rest of his life with someone he doesn't love to spare her feelings? It's love. There are no rules. We just want to celebrate. But we aren't safe. surrounded by friends. I'm a wealthy heiress. I'm surrounded by enemies. When you have money, no one is ever really your friend. With all of them, there's different jealousies, fights. It takes a pill to get to sleep. I don't feel safe with any of them. But with him, he loves me for me. I just want to honor that by enjoying our honeymoon, and I was hoping you might watch for us, for our love. Wait. I'm sure we could come to some kind of arrangement. She did threaten us, you know. Though she does have a tendency to be a little dramatic. Fine. But before you go, I thought you should know that Simon and we've made a surprise turn of the water. We've rented a boat, the Queen of the Nile. That's how we plan on touring Egypt now. Somewhere she can't get to us. You're invited if you choose to attend. I think you'd enjoy yourself. We have a piano tuned, a chef stolen from shepherds of Cairo, and enough champagne to fill the Nile. Think about it. Good day, Poirot.
After what I would only describe as an offer that cannot be refused when constrained with the burdens of the rules of polite society, I accepted a passage on the cruise arranged by Mrs. Doyle herself. Mon ami, the truth is that I would not have missed this for the world. A chance to travel to the most iconic river and sample the most ancient histories. To pass on such an opportunity would have made even the river god happy. And so, we board.
Mr. Furgusson, I hope you're well.
Much better now that you're here, Miss Robinson. Are you looking forward to the trip? I'm sure there's going to be a lot of fun drama. I was hoping for a nice, quiet, decadent repose, but I'm sure that's out the window.
I'm not sure that I'd consider drama and fun to fall in the same category, but yes, it is rather worrying, isn't it? I do wonder how she found her way on board.
Well, Linette mentioned that she kept this trip a secret, so your guess is as good as mine.
Oh dear. I do hope that nothing too dramatic happens. They both seem rather adamant that the other is in the wrong.
And so, we take our leave of this magnificent vessel to visit the temple of Abu Simbel. to follow in the footsteps of the ancient Egyptians themselves. As I look upon it, I cannot help but feel this sense of awe at the thought of all the history that it carries.
Come on, Poirot. Isn't this exciting? Oh, I think it's brilliant. Shall we meet here again later on? Yes. All right. Good exploration.
It's all just I mean, look at some of this stuff. Look at it. It's remarkable. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. It's not as beautiful as you, but it's similar a work of art. I mean, this must have took thousands of hours of people's lives just to make parts of this.
Honeymoon passion. It's in so clear.
If you must.
And again, it's just... Have you seen the detail?
Are you laughing at me, Poirot? Having fun, are we? It's really hot in here. I'm not very used to this sort of weather. Everyone's just went their own way. I kind of lost track of everyone else. Yes. Just exploring on my own. Did you see anything interesting? Yes. I'm sure that... Did you see that? That boulder almost hit... It was Linette. Linette.
You're okay. You're okay. You're going to be okay. Don't worry. Now do you believe us, Poirot? You saw just what happened there. Linette was almost killed. Well, I did say something like this was going to happen. Well, I hope you're able to sort it. If not, Poirot, I blame you for this. We're going to go back to the boat. It's okay, my darling.
Oh well. That was a tragedy. Almost a tragedy. This whole trip just became even more exciting, hasn't it? Well, let's go back to the boat. I think we have quite a bit of a mystery on our hands.
Tragedy strikes in the most unusual of places, and on board a ship on the Nile certainly fits these aforementioned criteria.
What? Are you sure? Are you sure of that? Who? No. Yes. Yes, I'll tell Poirot immediately. sorry. I'm sorry to wake up you so early. Well, there has been a murder. It's Linette. Dead, shot in the head. Last night. You need to get up. Come on. Oh, there he is. Okay. Dr. Bessner. Guten Morgen. That is, if we can say there's anything good about this morning in particular. Yes, she's over there.
Die Pistole wurde direkt an den Kopf gehalten. Sie muss geschlafen haben, als es passierte. Seit 6 oder 8 Stunden tot, mindestens. Mr. Doyle kann es nicht gewesen sein, der schlief in meiner Kabine. Sie haben es nicht mitbekommen, oder? Mr. Doyle wurde auch angeschossen. Letzte Nacht, Madame de Bellforte ist ausgeflippt und schoss auf ihn. Ja. Nein, unmöglich. Sie war total hysterisch und Mr. Doyle war besorgt, sie würde sich was antun. Deshalb war Mrs. Robson die ganze Nacht bei ihr. Na gut, sollten Sie noch irgendwas brauchen, Monsieur Poirot, lassen Sie nach mir rufen. Okay?
As I stand over the body of Mrs. Doyle, so cruelly murdered, my mind drifts to the puzzle laid before us. Justice, you see, is a puzzle. I have found it always has a solution. But to solve such a case, there must be questions. And so each guest is called before the scrutiny of the world's greatest detective. Hercule Poirot.
Mr. Poirot.
If I remember correctly, Doyle, Miss Robinson, Miss de Bellforte, and myself were the only ones at the bar.
Oh, yes. Mr. Furgusson was reading a magazine. I had my embroidery, and Miss de Bellforte was...
Drinking like a fish.
Yes. I tried to leave, but she made me stay, and I was getting quite uncomfortable, and so was Mr. Furgusson. He stepped outside for some air, and she kept getting angrier and angrier, and then Miss de Bellforte pulled out a gun and shot Mr. Doyle in the leg. Mr. Doyle said not to make a fuss, but I called out for Mr. Furgusson, and he told the cabin crew who came in that it was just a game. Then he ran upstairs to fetch the doctor.
Yes. We took Miss de Bellforte straight to her room, and then I went for the doctor.
I was with her all night. She never woke once. I think it was probably the drink. She said she wanted to kill herself earlier in the night, so the doctor was most insistent that I stay with her.
Then I went downstairs to collect the gun, but it was gone.
Mr. Poirot. Do you know who did? She didn't really have any enemies, as far as I'm aware. There was a name on the passenger list. Her father played the markets, you see. Some people did very well out of it, rolling in at one moment, in the gutter the next. She said one of those people was on the ship, but no, she didn't say the name. Or it could easily be that, couldn't it? Her pearls were expensive. Some of her other jewelry, perhaps. Poirot, can we do this a little bit later, please? I feel very dizzy. Thank you.
Je ne suis pas sûre de pouvoir vous aider, Monsieur Poirot. Je travaillais pour Madame Doyle depuis 5 ans. À la mort de ma mère, elle a accepté de me prendre à son service. Je n'avais ni argent ni relation. Elle a été la seule à bien vouloir de moi. Jamais je n'aurais imaginé. Quand je suis entrée dans sa chambre, Madame était sur son lit et j'ai paniqué. J'ai couru trouver quelqu'un, je n'ai rien vu. Je n'ai vu personne. Si j'étais sortie de ma cabine, si j'avais été sur le pont pour fumer ma cigarette, j'aurais pu voir quelque chose, quelqu'un entrer ou sortir de la cabine de Madame. Mais mes cigarettes étaient dans ma chambre. Je n'ai rien vu. Des perles? Non, monsieur, je n'ai pas vu de perles. Peut-être qu'il y en avait quelque part dans la chambre, mais tout ce que j'ai vu est Madame Doyle et, comme vous l'imaginez, je n'ai pas songé à regarder ailleurs. Des perles. Madame ne manquait certainement pas de bijoux. Elle était très riche, vous savez. Probablement bien plus que vous ne le pensez. Et à cause de cet argent, elle a ruiné tous mes espoirs de bonheur. J'aurais pu être mariée et heureuse, vous savez. Mon fiancé m'a quittée quand elle lui a offert le montant de ma dot. Ma dot. Oh, elle était très aimée, Monsieur Poirot. Très aimée. J'ai bien peur de ne pouvoir vous en dire plus.
What can I do for you, Mr. Poirot? See her dead. Well, there is that de Bellforte lady. Jacqueline, I think. Her name is. She seemed to hate her. If looks could kill, hey, Poirot. But I have no idea how she'd have known. Maybe she checked the ship's manifest or something. No, I'm afraid I don't know that. None that I'm aware of, anyway. Her father was a very rich man. Made a lot of business decisions. Made a lot of people happy, and made a lot of people unhappy. We're talking in the hundreds there, Poirot. I can't give you any specific names. Yes, I did hear about the near miss, but I was inside the temple at the time, so it couldn't have been me. I was here purely to speak with Linette. There was no thought of a break. I had private estate matters to go over. Private means just that. Poirot. Private. Ah, yes, I was fortunate. I got the boat to Cairo and went straight to the hotel. Well, as it happens, Poirot, I didn't have the papers with me. I had them sent on ahead. Picked them up along the way. There is nothing wrong with Linette's finances, and I don't appreciate the implication, Poirot. Look, I've made no secret of my gun, Poirot. She would have been 21 years old next July. Her father's will stated that she took control of the estate at 21, or when she got married. All right, it's because of this slump. I was hoping with a bit of luck I would have her finances sorted by the time she came of age. I just needed her to sign off on some future investments. I didn't expect her to get married so soon. Poirot, that's crazy. I tripped over my golf club, and that's it. I didn't kill her. You can't prove it, and you never will. Excuse me.
There you are. Poirot, you have to take a look on this. They found the gun. Yes, the gun. They shot Linette. Come on, you have I have to take a look on it. Come on.
With the weapon uncovered and another piece of the puzzle laid bare, it was time to question Mademoiselle Rosalind Otterborne. She has much explaining to do about her nocturnal outing on the night of the murder, my friends.
I told you I never left my cabin. Who said that? And what does she claim to have seen? Mm-hmm. I see. If you must. That's what you think she was killed with? And you think I did it? Well, it wasn't me. Yes, well, you see, my mother, she drinks. And it was a secret stash that I threw overboard that evening when she claimed to have seen me, right? Yes, well, it all started when her book stopped selling, and I had to take care of her full time, and she started to hate me. Well, I know I come across quite stuck up, but the truth is I've just stopped knowing how to be nice. Yes. Well, I threw the bottles over around 10 to 1 in the morning. Correct. I saw nobody. I hope that will help you with your case. Yes, right. I'll be on my way now.
Mr. Poirot, I came to bring you these. No, it was not me. Cousin Marie took the pearls. It's one of her idiosyncrasies. That's why I'm here, to keep an eye on her. I found them in her stockings this morning. That's usually where she hides things. I wanted to return them, so I went along to do that, but there was a steward on guard who told me about the murder, and I've been in an absolute state ever since. The Van Shores are very particular, you see. It will never do if this were to get into the papers. But it won't, will it? Thank you so much, monsieur. Thank you.
Alright, so to review everything we have so far, let me just see here. What do we know? Or better saying, what don't we know? So first thing we have here is the pearls. The original pearls are imitations. Fake pearls. Have they always been fake or... Secondly, we can find that maid. Louise, was it? Louise. The maid seems to have gone missing. Or maybe she's hiding, doesn't want to be found. Shall we go in? Well, this whole trip has taken an unfortunate turn of events. Yeah, but I'm sure if there's someone who can just figure this mess, this entire mess, is you. Yes. Well, I would... Yes? We'll be there right away. Well, I guess that answers the question about the maid. Shall we go? You first.
Seien Sie gegrüßt, Monsieur Poirot. Ich habe den Tatort untersucht und ich würde sagen, sie ist seit über einer Stunde tot. Sofort eingetreten, ihr wurde ins Herz gestochen. Sie denken, ich würde ein jämmerliches Dienstmädchen umbringen? Alle meine Messer sind vollständig und einwandfrei. Mir ist aufgefallen, dass sie den Fetzen eines 5-Pfund-Scheins in der Hand hielt. Vielleicht kam der Mörder ins Zimmer, gab ihr Geld und griff sie an, als sie das Geld zählte. Naja, wie auch immer. Für mich gibt's nichts mehr zu tun. Ich überlasse das Ihnen, Monsieur Poirot. Lassen Sie mich rufen, wenn Sie was brauchen.
Monsieur Poirot, I must speak with you. I have vital information. I do wish you had come to me earlier to discuss my theories about the murder of Linnet. It's true that I didn't see or hear anything the night of that first murder. I was as dead to the world as Miss Doyle is now. But sometimes, monsieur, sometimes the girl, it sees things that the eyes and the mind cannot. I considered all the possibilities very carefully, for with something that is so clearly a compassnel, who better to untangle the thorny vines of deception than one who knows the innermost primeval workings of the heart as intimately as I do? First, I thought, perhaps that girl, Jacqueline, scorned, hot-blooded, obeying the deepest instincts of her being, creeping down the deck with a revolver in her hand. Or the husband, deranged by desire, a sexual crime. There are many known instances. But then, of course, I learned that they both had alibis and had been cleared of the crime, so that I thought, perhaps Miss Robson, the repressed virgin, beautiful but untouchable, driven to madness by the proximity of honeymoon passion. It seemed so clear psychologically. But then, thanks to a chance encounter, I discovered the truth. You will agree, will you not, that whoever it was who killed the maid, whatever her name, also killed Linette Doyle? Well, I saw them with my own eyes. I was walking along the deck, and then just as I turned a corner, I saw them. They knocked on the door to the maid's cabin, and then they went in. A moment, monsieur. A moment. Information as momentous and as shocking as this must be delivered with grand soin. All of my instincts completely validated. The person who murdered Linette Doyle is...
Ah, mon ami, The second hand of justice ticks most slowly at times. We waited for Madame Otterborne's remarkable revelation. Then, mere centimeters from the truth, it was silenced with a violent... And yet, even with the most hasty of aggressions, there was not a soul to be seen. Mon Dieu! There was one last Gordian knot for Hercule Poirot to slice through with the razor of deduction. This one, however, I had delayed for quite some time, as it was the interrogation of a good friend. But still, Hercule Poirot must press on. The truth is within such a proximity that a thrown stone would be hard-pressed to miss it.
Well, I'm not quite sure what to think anymore. About any of this, yes. Is this a questioning? Are you interrogating me, Poirot? Oh. Okay, yes, whoa. It was me. I took the pearls, the real ones, and I replaced them with the fake ones, but I didn't kill anyone. You surely don't believe that? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if she was dead or alive. I just tried to be very quiet. Just, the very sneaky way, just grabbed those pills. She was, from what I can see, just laying down on her bed. She could have been just sleeping, or perhaps I was there after she was murdered, but I don't know. I swear, Poirot. You know me. I wouldn't do that. I didn't have any reasons to... You believe me? Goodness gracious. I know it was incredibly stupid, and there hasn't been a minute since I took those pills that I haven't regretted. It was just, I thought that if I could just grab with my hands a bit of that fortune. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking clearly, well. But you can be sure I would never do something so stupid ever again. Of course not. Really? You're gonna let me go? Thank you. Thank you, God. Oh yes, sure. I will. I'll return them right away. Well, you're not ever gonna see me do anything like that again. No, I promise. It was a lesson learned the hard way. Well, now that we have this thing about the pearls clarified, can you solve this mystery? Do you know who's the murderer?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me here in this most important meeting, for it is in this very room that Hercule Poirot will uncover the truth to all. Miss de Bellforte is free of suspicion, as she was accompanied at all times, even given a sedative to sleep through the night, as confirmed by two parties. N'est-ce pas, Dr Bessner and Miss Robson? For Mr. Bellforte had that very evening shot Mr. Doyle in the leg, in a fit of foolish passion and petty revenge. This left Mr. Doyle incapacitated downstairs, while Mr. Furgusson ran to fetch our good doctor, while Miss Robinson accompanied Mr. Bellforte to her room. These details are relayed to me after the event, but why? For Hercule Poirot slept, or should I say lay unconscious, in his room the entire night without so much as stirring, for my wine had clearly been drugged. And so we can firmly say this is no crime of passion, no. This was a well-thought-out, well-planned, cold-blooded murder. The veneer of falsehood started to crack at the interrogation of Mademoiselle Bourget. The term, I could not have seen it unless I went outside for a cigarette, stuck in my side like a thorn. Why say such a thing? Why not tell us who committed the murder? What if the idea was blackmail? Why not go directly to them? There can be only one conclusion. The killer was in the room. So, it either had to be Dr. Bessner or Mr. Doyle. But Dr. Bessner had no motive. But Mr. Doyle was not capable either. So it must be Dr. Bessner. Unless all is not what it seems, was it, Mr. Doyle? That is absolute hogwash, Poirot. I couldn't even walk. How can you make an accusation like that? Ludicrous. Let us return to the dramatic scene, and I emphasize scene, for it was staged. No
Mr.
way. Bellforte pretends to shoot Mr. Doyle in the leg with a blank round and kicks the gun under the chair. Mr. Doyle reacts most convincingly and demands the hysterical Mr. Bellforte be taken care of by Miss Robinson and Mr. Furgusson, and only after this, a doctor be called to treat his leg. All these cabins sit on the port side, do they not? All except that of your wife. So Mr. Doyle now leaps up the stairs and retrieves the gun in hand and coldly and mercilessly puts the gun to her head and pulls the trigger. Impossible. Without a moment's hesitation, he dashes down the stairs, shoots himself in the leg, and tosses the gun overboard. A few moments later, Mr. Furgusson and Dr. Bessner arrive, who treat the incapacitated Mr. Doyle, who is now above suspicion. This, of course, is the reason the maid needs to be silenced. Mr. Doyle was not capable of this, so this gruesome task fell to you, did it not, Mr. Bellforte?
Oh, how clever is Hercule Poirot.
You entered the room while Mademoiselle Bourget counted her ill-gotten gains and bought her permanent silence with the help of a knife. Mr. Doyle and Mr. Bellforte had been in love all this time, and the sham marriage to Mrs. Doyle was for nothing more than money. Once Mrs. Doyle had been painted out of the picture with a bloody palette of cunning and remorselessness, Mr. Doyle and Mr. Bellforte could then be reunited with their evil fortunes in tow. And finally, Miss Otterborne, who had been unfortunate enough to see the actual killer of the maid, you, Mr. Bellforte, saw herself added to this gruesome list of those standing in your way.
The ambition was mine. He needed things and I needed him. I couldn't deny him anything, not even a plan when he couldn't hatch one himself.
As soon as Mrs. Otterborne explained that she knew the identity of the killer, Mr. Doyle shouts at the top of his lungs that she knew who killed his wife, giving Mr. Bellforte the opportunity to silence one more victim on your way to your fortune. Wasn't meant to go down this way, Mr. Poirot. But you forget one thing that led to your eventual downfall. The genius of Hercule Poirot.
Simon, what do we do? They'll take us in, we'll be separated.
It wasn't. I'm so sorry, Mr. Poirot. I'm so sorry.
Give me the gun. Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, we must be strong. We must be strong.
Mon Dieu. There was a second gun. She must have slipped it into the handbag the day of the search and retrieved it later. Some things escape even the greatest. It is not always so easy.
Well, it has been quite a trip, hasn't it? Where are you going from now on? Yeah. Well, I do hope our paths cross again. Not so soon, though. Yes, I think I would prefer some nice and calm lifestyle for a while. No murders, of course. No stealing pearls or anything like that. Well, what happens in the Nile stays in the Nile. Isn't that so?